If you want to achieve the Ralph Lauren Christmas look, but you have a Dollar Tree budget, this is the video for you because I'm showing you how to do a Ralph Lauren inspired tablescape entirely from Dollar Tree. My name is KB. I teach you how to achieve the Luxe look for less, and that's exactly what we're doing today. But enough of my yapping, let's head to Dollar Tree. So now let's head to Dollar Tree, and you don't want to throw everything in the cart. I know it can be overwhelming. Like I walked in, I wanted to make like these little DIY ornaments and use these as like place cards on the table, but this was going to be so expensive because I needed sand, I needed the ornaments, I needed the succulent holders, I needed the mini trees. We want to do things that are affordable and things that we can reuse. An ornament shaped item is really only going to work for Christmas. We want something that's going to work for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, whatever. So that's why we want to get the glassware. And you're going to say to yourself, well, the little lanterns they have are the same price as the glassware. Yes, but they're only really going to work for Christmas. So while these are cute, they're not super well made. You still have to pay for the LED light to go in them. We're going to be able to make so much power with just like the glassware and a floating candle. And then of course we can use that for a vase. We could put a cup on top and turn that into a nice bedside carafe. The opportunities are kind of endless. So you need to think long term. You don't just need to think per tablescape, because we're living in a world right now. I know people are struggling. People aren't getting their food stamps. And if you want to make your home look beautiful while you're still struggling, I think you have the right to do that. But we need to make smart decisions so that we can get the best bang for our buck, and we're not dropping $50 at Dollar Tree for one event. That's just not feasible for most people. Now, Dollar Tree has great glassware. You can get more intricate glassware. They even have these fluted glasses now that I think could work as candle holders and as cups, but only buy things that you need. When we're choosing these chargers, I want you to go with a charger color that you can use for both holidays. So while I loved the red and the tartan plaid, this is very Ralph Lauren. This is very one note. I decided to go with something that will work for all seasons, so I went with the gold rim and the gold charger. The silver will work as well, and you can always mix metals when we're trying to go for this Ralph Lauren aesthetic. You're also going to look for small decorative accents like corn, things like that, but I promise you, you have most of these things in your home. You can use items from your pantry and your refrigerator as decor and then eat them. But now that we've done some really good shopping at Dollar Tree, let's head back to the house and get started. But I do want to share that if you do need serveware, this is really great serveware. It's silver. It looks really expensive. They also have tartan, buffalo plaid, and other types of really fun wrapping paper that you can use as decor. You can use it for matting. You can even use it as a tablecloth or for a tablescape. But let's head home and start designing. Step one is to put your pine on the table. Again, I'm going with my pine runner that I already bought, but use the pine you already have. You don't need new pine. You don't need the newest fancy garland, because it's just the base. It's not the star of the show. We need the pine on the table. One of my very best tricks, or one of my very best tips for designing something, is to just get stuff on the surface. When you're like trying to plan it out in your head, you get paralysis, you get design paralysis, you don't do anything. Just get some stuff on the table. So we need to figure out our layout. I always want to do that first, because since we're filling all of these with water, they're going to be heavy. We're going to be sloshing and splashing everywhere. So the sooner we know the layout so that we don't make that mistake, the happier we're going to be. Stunning. Right? Now, I said before that I was going to put these on these little candles, but we want something with a wider base just for the sake of stability. So it gives us a little bit more height. So then we're actually going to take these ones and put them on the end, and then we're going to put these ones in the center. We want the lower profile things to be in the middle so that we can see each other and continue to converse without having to move the decor. So when we are doing this, we want to find gaps in our pine, whether we have something like this or we just have pieces of pine, so that this can really sit flush on the tabletop so that it has the support that it needs. So I'm just gonna put this up there. Excellent. This one next. And you really wanna make sure these ones are centered so that they're stable, okay? Because we don't want any glass breaking, shattering, hurting anybody. And see, another simple way here to make things look expensive is just to like switch up the spacing. So let's move these closer together, right? So the people sitting here can talk and the people sitting there can talk. You know, it's just mildly more inviting. It's such a simple thing that's gonna make a difference. And now it's time to go in with our floating candles. It's kind of crazy to me how much power there is in just using water as part of decor, but drop those in. I'm afraid they might be too big for this, but we're gonna finesse them. I'll melt them down if I have to. Okay, well, that's not gonna light this. Oh my gosh. I'm literally just making it worse over and over again. Well, we're gonna light these four to give you the vibes. I mean, these three, I can't light that one. It has to dry off first. See, we're getting there, we're getting there. Are you seeing that gorgeous glow? You can see this one is a little bit off center. We fixed it. Now let's move on to step 2, which is going to be the table setting. So as I showed you before, these are the chargers I picked up from Dollar Tree because they didn't have enough of the red ones. And we're gonna couple them with these gold rimmed plates. Again, I love that this is gonna work for Christmas and for Thanksgiving, making it very versatile and budget friendly. Now we're just doing 4 place settings here because I feel like that's pretty standard. And you guys tell I'm a mom now. I've got a helium tank and a car in my living room. So now we're gonna grab the pine cones, which you can get outside. You can get them at your local grocery store and just scatter them in the empty spaces. This could also be a great time if you have like extra cinnamon sticks or something like that to scatter them on the table. I think that Dollar Tree has them, I'm not sure, but that's something you can get out of your pantry, which is a great option. So we've got some woodsy elements now. And another really fun food item you could add to your tablescape that is relatively affordable, at least during the holiday season, is like a fresh cranberry. You can scatter those on. I'm not gonna do them now because I wanna focus on Dollar Tree only stuff first, but then we will use these later on because I'm gonna do 2 levels to this thing. Now, this is a little bit extra, but I think it's really gonna add to the overall vibe. So I want you to grab scissors, tape, and those napkins I told you to pick up, and your ribbon. So what I want you to do is grab 2 of those napkins, so you get 30 in the pack. So unless you're entertaining a bunch of people, using up 2 shouldn't be too bad. And we're going to open them up. We're going to layer them on top of one another, and then we're going to fold it in half, okay? Now, once we have our half napkin, we're going to fold each side into thirds so that we get that half. Now, it probably isn't gonna stay, so it just is going to be a pleating thing. And you really want to make sure you have those pleats, okay? This is critical. So you want to do it all the way down the napkin. So I have my pleats on this side, and then I have my pleats on that side. And you can see now it's made pretty much a bow. So then we're going to form the bow and grab our tape, and we're going to tape the bow like so, okay? And then we're going to grab the ribbon. I would probably measure these out to all be the same, just for the sake of continuity. And I've lost my good scissors, so you guys are going to see the left-handed scissor struggle. But you're going to cut your ribbon and grab one of your Christmas trees. Now that we have our Christmas tree, we're going to set this just behind it, and then we're gonna grab our ribbon and drape it around the bottom of the tree where a tree skirt would go. And then you're just going to tie it into a knot. Nothing fancy, just a knot. You don't need to make a bow because we already have our bow via our napkin. So then we have our little Christmas tree with the bow. Now let's go over to one of our place settings. So we're going to take our napkin and set it so that it's kind of centered in the middle. And then we're gonna take our Christmas tree and sit it just in front and almost tuck that napkin underneath the bristles. This is gonna kind of give the illusion of a tree skirt. Then we're gonna have this ribbon here, and we're gonna write the names of our friends and family on here. You can use a glitter pencil, you can use your Cricut. What I'm gonna do later, which you'll see because I do have a Cricut, is I'm going to print the names of the Cricut, and then I'm just gonna use a flat iron to attach the names to the ribbon. This is a great way to get kind of like a place card moment without having to make an actual place card. Then you're just going to grab an additional napkin and fold it into a corner. Place it on the outside for your fork, and then you'll also add your knife and spoon on the other side. Now that the table is kind of set, it's time to have fun with the floral foam and things we already have. So as I mentioned, I have these candles from Dollar Tree. So you can pick them up from Dollar Tree. I think they're $1.50 or $3 for 2. And I'm just opening up this 4-pack of floral foam. And I'm going to shove the candle in the foam so that it serves as a taper candle holder for me. Excellent. So they say that this is dry foam, but it's definitely a malleable dry foam. And you want to press it down as far as you can, and you want to do your best to get it in the center. Then I want you to take your faux floral. I picked up these ones. I actually am not going to use these. I'm going to use ones that I already have, but I wanted to at least show you an option from Dollar Tree. But this is where I'd get poinsettias from Dollar Tree, holly from Dollar Tree, anything like that. And you're going to shove that in here to make this almost like a floral moment with the foam. And don't be afraid to use tape and hot glue and things like that to make this process easier for you. I've just been banned from hot glue. If you know, you know. If you don't know, take this as an opportunity to subscribe to the channel, because that means you're not subscribed, because I talk about it a lot. And I'll be the first one to tell you that this part is so tedious. I find it really difficult to get things to stick into floral foam. So when you have them in the positioning that you want, use the pine cones to cover up the empty spaces. And because this one was looking a little bit sparse, this is holly from Dollar Tree. I have it from a prior video. I'm just gonna throw this in to fill those kind of like awkward empty portions. And while you're doing things like this, you should be walking around the tablescape regularly, reassessing, finessing. Holly's in. And if you had a bigger budget, you could use one of these little men from Dollar Tree. My guy's seen better days. I'll throw them on here. Why not? My little nutcracker there. They have so many different like LED candles, stuff like that. I'm actually gonna take them away because I only have one of them and he's melting and I feel like the vibe is negative. But just finish off by adding the person's name to the end of the ribbon. Now I have the worst penmanship on the planet. I would use a marker. If you have bad penmanship like I do, I say just do the letter. If you have good penmanship, do the full name. Wow, that looks bad. So I'm not gonna do that because my penmanship is poor. But if you're better than I am, that's what you do. And then if you are a Cricut user, which I am, and I'm opening my Cricut anyway today, I'm going to print them on and use a hairdryer. I'm gonna add some more things now for a more elevated version, but this is the base version with everything that you could probably get from Dollar Tree and then pine that you'd already have at home. Now, you do not need a Cricut heat press to do this. Don't tell babe I'm doing this, but most people have a flat iron. I don't have one, but my spouse does. So get your flat iron, turn it on, do something conservative. I'm gonna do 365. It's heating. I think when it's done flashing, that means it's done. Cut down your vinyl. I'll do page first, because hers looks the prettiest. Grab this. Then you grab a piece of parchment paper so that you don't ruin the flat iron, because we just got this. That would be a problem. And then you hold it for 30 seconds. Let it cool and then peel it off. I'm gonna add some more things now for a more elevated version, but this is the base version with everything that you could probably get from Dollar Tree and then pine that you'd already have at home. And then for this version, I'm just scattering the cranberries on the table and make sure they're washed and all that good stuff so that people can also eat them, so that the tablescape is almost like alive and edible. So you're not just like wasting the food on the tablescape, you can actually eat it as well. Excellent. Okay, you guys, that's it for today's video. That was a tutorial on how to get a designer-inspired tablescape from Dollar Tree. We only use items from Dollar Tree and things that we already had, and I hope I showed you that you can have beautiful things on a budget. All you need is a little bit of creativity and the urge to reuse some things you already have. And I'm gonna put the final price up here on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you want a different version of this. Is there a different holiday? Do you want a different theme? I would love to recreate this video for you. Until next time, have a beautiful day.